What's something that movies get wrong that drives you crazy, but other people don't care about at all?
That's not how video games are made. It's not. For those of you who are not aware, I graduated from the DigiPen Institute of Technology. It is a college specifically created so that they can make new people to make games. It was co-founded by fucking Nintendo. I have personally made 4 video games with full game teams, 2 of which are on Steam. And man, when I tell you, when I watch movies where they make video games, it makes me lose my fucking mind. If I see one more goddamn movie where the CEO of a fucking company sits over somebody's shoulder and goes, wait a minute, put something in, put that in real quick, and then somebody clickety-clacks on their fucking keyboard and all of a sudden some big new thing is in the game, I am gonna lose my shit. Making a decision about what goes into a video game is such a long process that it cannot be done by a CEO just looking over someone's shoulder and going, add that in. What fucking version control are you using that one person adds something and all of a sudden it's in the finished product that everybody can access? Did you have that pre-made asset? Have you play tested this already? How the fuck was that already in there? How the fuck did you already have said thing just on call? Also, Jesus fucking Christ, can movies decide on what decade their video games are from? I swear to God, every single time I have seen a movie where a video game prevalently is shown, they cannot decide what genre the game is, much less what decade the game came from. Is it a racing game? Is it a GTA clone? Is it an MMO? What the fuck is the game? Also, what fucking engine are you using? Unreal is free! You can just fucking boot it up and throw something together! You don't have to make some shitty half-ass CGI bullshit! There are multiple movies that I have straight up refused to watch because I have seen that they are about making games and I can just tell. I still have not watched Free Guy. I still have not made it through Ready Player One without falling asleep. Just like, talk to one person who has made a video game ever before you decide to put a video game making segment in your fucking movie. So this comment comes from a video that Nikhil Clayton did talking about the inherent sexism of what happened to Barbara Gordon during The Killing Joke. How there's multiple different ways to look at a story, that being from the situations within the narrative of the story and also from the narrative of the author. It's a really well done video and I think you should go check it out, but I wanted to address this comment right here. Now Nikhil also addresses this comment within the comments of the video, but I wanted to give my own little perspective on it. The reason that what happened to Barbara Gordon in The Killing Joke is so bad is even though it is the most horrid thing that the Joker could ever do to a human being, her suffering is not addressed. The story of The Killing Joke is inherently a story about Batman, the Joker, and Jim Gordon. And the person who suffers the most for that story is Barbara Gordon. She is not a focus of the narrative, she is not even one of the main characters, but she is the person who suffers the most for this story. And the reality of this being a fictional story is that that did not need to happen. You could have had the Joker do literally anything, but you decided to brutalize the one main female character who was in the story for the purposes of furthering her father's story. And I also want to remind everybody, this is a consistent pattern with Alan Moore books. Alan Moore might be one of the greatest comic book authors of all time, but we can't really talk about Alan Moore without addressing the fact that somebody gets essayed in every single one of his books. And very, very rarely is it treated with the gravity that something like that should be. So yeah, it could be the fact that it's something that Alan Moore thought the Joker could do. That would be the most horrid thing that he could do in the history of ever. Or it could be a consistent running pattern that he uses as a authorial shorthand for this character is evil, which victimizes and brutalizes all of the female characters in his stories without ever really giving them the justice they deserve. We also can't approach The Killing Joke like Oracle was a plan. The Killing Joke was written as a one-shot that was not supposed to be canon. Its popularity made it canon. The end of that Barbara Gordon story was supposed to be what the Joker did to her, which I would argue makes it even worse once it is reintroduced into the canon of DC Universe. Oracle is great in spite of The Killing Joke. Sure, The Killing Joke is good, but it is an ultimately overhyped story. A story in which both of the 2 named female characters either get brutalized in the worst thing that can ever happen to them, or fucking die. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if that is the worst thing that the Joker could have possibly done. It's a fictional story. The worst thing someone could possibly do can be literally anything. This is a man with chalk white skin and green hair and red lipstick who fights a dude in spandex who dresses as a bat. We're in ridiculous town. You don't need to pick the worst thing that can happen to a real person in real life. And it makes it even worse considering the fact that this is a one-shot, meaning future canon doesn't really matter. You could have had Jim Gordon dropped into the chemicals that made the Joker, ultimately ending his one bad day, and then have him resist going crazy regardless. You could have had Joker say that he did something to Barbara, even though he fucking didn't. He's a villain who uses psychoactive drugs all of the time. He can lie and probably make him believe it. Arkham Asylum is shown. You could have just had him have, like, fear toxin and have Jim Gordon imagine that something terrible is happening. You didn't need to make this happen. The entirety of the story hinges on the fact that one day Batman or the Joker is going to have to kill the other. You already illustrated the fact that the Joker is the worst possible thing that can ever happen. You don't need to give further proof to that. Especially not something so real world, especially not something so brutal, especially not something that will never be given justice in this story. So yes, it could be Dad. That still doesn't make it okay. As much as I will sing the praises of the Under the Red Hood movie adaptation until my dying day, there is one line in the movie that has annoyed me to no end since I first watched it. And that line would be this one right here.
I'm saying that our boy here has some skills. He's been trained and trained well. Like right there. That. He sliced that cable off his ankle before it went taut. You don't just do that. That has to be practiced.
In that clip, Nightwing is saying that it's very obvious that whoever the Red Hood is, he has been trained. And the evidence that he uses is that when Batman shoots a cable around the Red Hood's ankle, he cuts the rope off of his ankle with his knife before the line goes taut. Now, the reason that annoys me, and I am not a very well-trained person, I sit on my ass 90% of the day, so I have a very high likelihood about being wrong about this, but like, isn't that the opposite of what you want to do? Like, hold on, I need an example. I don't have any rope on me, but I do have this loose charging cord right here and this here pen. So, like, you have the rope, and the rope is wrapped around his ankle, meaning that it's gonna be taut eventually. It's gonna get tight. What if you're cutting it before it gets tight? Isn't that, like, worse? Because you're just gonna pull it tight anyway, and then it's gonna be harder to cut through because there's slack? Wouldn't you want it to, like, get firm? Like, cut it the exact second it gets taut? I feel like I'm going crazy about this. Anybody who is trained in, like, escape, I don't know, military I don't even know if military training would cover this. Anybody who knows more about this than me, please tell me, because this has been bugging me since I first heard it. Is that a smart move? Is that a smart move? I feel like that's the wrong move. Me and Scarlett went and saw Monkey Man last night, which, if you haven't gone to see that movie, do so. Holy fucking shit, that movie is amazing. All I went into that movie knowing was that Dev Patel was in it and that it was an action movie, and that was it. That's all that was needed to sell me, and holy fucking god. But that's not why I'm making this video. That's not really what my page is. When I don't rant about movies on here. I mean, I could, but that's not usually what I do on here. This is for a different purpose. No, what I'm making this video for is simply to say, put this man in the running to play a young Bruce Wayne. But Panda, he's skinny. But Panda, he's so young. But Panda, he's not a white guy. I don't fucking care. Watch Monkey Man and get back to me. This motherfucker can play Bruce Wayne. If that is not the scowl of a Batman, I don't know what is. And yeah, he's skinny. You want to know what people always make fun of in Batman comics? How nobody can tell that the fucking jacked 6'2" billionaire is Batman. Batman canonically pads the suit. He also canonically makes himself taller with his boots. Just make the suit make him look bigger. I'm telling you, I have a vision here. Let me fucking cook with this. Dev Patel as Bruce Wayne would fucking knock everything out of the park. And yeah, it might just be because I just watched Monkey Man and thought it was great. But I'm telling you, if you watch the movie, you'll see the vision. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Think about it in your head. Because honestly, I think we could be onto something here. Dev Patel as Bruce Wayne could be something. This could be fucking big. Anyway, y'all have a nice day. Oh, hi there. This is your weekly reminder that if you think that Batman being a terrible father to the Robins is a modern comics thing, I would just like to tell you that when Nightwing was out in space when Jason Todd died, Batman did not make any attempt to contact him to let him know. Didn't leave a phone message, didn't call him in space, didn't talk to any of the multiple magic or telepath people that he knew. He did not make any attempt to contact Nightwing. Not only did he not tell Nightwing and make no attempt to tell Nightwing, but when Dick came to the Batcave to be like, "Hey Bruce, why the fuck didn't you tell me about my brother's death?" Bruce punched him in the fucking face and told him to leave his keys to the manor with Alfred. And sure, you can make the argument that his son had just died and he thought that it was his fault and he was grieving. I would also argue that I don't think that gives him permission to punch his other son square in the fucking jaw and tell him to leave. Or, you know, not make any attempt to tell him that his fucking brother had died. Growth as a DC Comics fan is realizing that Superman is actually really cool, and Batman has always been a terrible father. Alright, you guys have a nice day. So I was aware that there was a potential that the Goonian propaganda line of merch that I put out yesterday might be a little controversial, might turn some heads. I will say I didn't think it was getting TikTok banned in the States the literal next fucking day levels of controversial. My B, guys. That's on me. I guess I will
censor the guns next time. I don't fucking...
For legal purposes, I feel like I should mention that this is a joke. I don't think that my Goonian propaganda line of merchandise got TikTok banned in the United States. But, you know, I mean, you never know. I don't even know. So just for the sake of safety, I think we should play it safe today. So welcome back to Regrettable Superhero of the Week, the weekly, non-weekly show where I pick one character at random out of the League of Regrettable Superheroes, and then I run them the fuck down. Let's see who we are getting today. You better give me someone. Give me someone I haven't fucking done this time. Wait a minute. Isn't that like Jeff Goldblum? No, not like Jeff Goldblum. God, wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if I got Prez this week instead and I had to talk about that after this whole debate? God, that would be hilarious. I'm not entirely sure if you're aware of this, man, but your name is the Human Fly, and you seem to have a rocket on your belt. Would you care to explain that? Also the scepter. The scepter would be nice. Also, why you're called the Human Fly but seem to be dressed like a Swiss Army knife. That would be great to have an explanation for. Oh, wow, I feel like a real fucking dick after reading that. The Human Fly was created by Bill Mantlo in the Human Fly #1 of Marvel Comics in September of 1977. But here's the thing. Turns out the Human Fly was a real person. Yeah, the Human Fly was the stage name, presumably for the stuntman Ricky Roja. No one super knows, but that's the prevailing theory. And Human Fly's whole deal was trying to be the world's greatest stunt performer, openly challenging the records of people like Evel Knievel and trying to outdo them. Now, the real-life Human Fly had this backstory, kind of like a WWE wrestler. This is a persona. And the persona's story is that they had some horrible accident that left 60% of their body covered in metal supports. They were told they were never gonna walk again. But then, out of sheer willpower, they made it so not only could they move, but they were going to be the world's greatest stunt performer, just to show everybody that you can do whatever you set your mind to. In fact, the reason that he did stunts was for charity. He was raising funds for ailing children. This dude was so popular that they gave him his own comic book in Marvel, and that lasted pretty much the entirety of the Human Fly's career. Human Fly had a pretty tragic failed accident as his last stunt ever. He tried to jump 26 school buses with a rocket-powered motorcycle traveling around 300 miles an hour and crashed. He didn't die, but he got injuries that made it so he could never do stunts again. And very shortly afterward, the comic book ended. But they gave his comic book character a happy ending. Literally walking into the sunset, arms over his friend's shoulders. Yeah, this kicks ass. This is really fucking cool. And honestly, not that bad of a costume. I can't even make fun of it that much. This is honestly a pretty good fucking look. So it's been a while since I've done one of these, but Human Fly, you literally save the world and do stunts for children's charities. So, yeah. Seal of approval. If they ever bring him back, they have to add the fact that his suit is fucking bedazzled, though, because that is just fucking awesome. that is going to be it for this month. I just want to say thank you to all of my lovely, lovely patient patrons over on Patreon. Amanda Barnstead, Andrea Lanowitz, Anthea Yu, Bill Bro, Brandon Bilbrey, Carol Cowett, Christopher Boscard, definitely not 5 Gene Stealers in a trench coat, Devin Nicholas, Dee Dee, Dragonfang, Eddie XIII, Elizabeth Rush, Gamer X, Have a Heart Tin Man, In Japan, Ivana Marin, Jack Colson, Jacob Safel, Jake Williamson, Jeffrey Aviles, Jeremy Strickland, Kath Q, Katie Did It, Kyle Rayner, Imni, Magu, Max Baker, Midnight Ace Evergreen, Miles Patrick, Mr. Nobody 13, 9 Circles of Swell, Nixie Shimo, Noah, Oplin, Pinchy Mugray, Ricky Tiki Davi, Schmop Clap, Shadow Spike, Shen Dude, Simply Smithy Jr., Silver Bullets 23, Slytherin Deception, Sorino, Tangled Web, The Brain Teaser, The Holy Corota, Thomas Randolph, Toon Reaper, Toy Box, T.S. Famder, and Tyler Ellis, as well as all of my other lovely, lovely patrons over on Patreon. And if you too want your name read out in the credits of every one of the videos that I do over here on YouTube, then head on over to Patreon and subscribe for $15 or more. Or, if you just want to be generous, even $1 help. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the merch that I have recently put up on thepandared.com. And I will see you guys in the next one.